Early morning at Chester Zoo, and head keeper of carnivores, Alan Woodward, is coming to terms with some shattering news. When Asha neglected her 2 newborn cubs, the team intervened to save their lives.
It's this little weak one that I'm more concerned about. I know, it's a shame.
The cubs survived the critical first hours, and Alan took them home and began the gruelling task of hand-rearing them.
It's our job now to make sure the cubs survive, well, as much as we can do as possible anyway.
But despite round-the-clock care, there have been tragic developments.
Unfortunately, the other evening, the smaller of the 2 cubs took a turn for the worst. He started going downhill quite rapidly. I was up with him all night, drip feeding him, trying to get liquids into him, but he wasn't actually swallowing after the last few feeds, which was a worrying sign anyway.
Alan called in resident vet James Chatterton.
The lion cub deteriorated really rapidly. So when they're so young, they tend to get poorly so quickly that your opportunity to diagnose and treat is much shorter. Everything happens really, really quickly.
And then he just passed away about 4 o'clock in the morning.
It is upsetting, you know, when any of our animals die, but especially one so young. It's a very sad occasion, but hopefully we can learn from that, and maybe that will help the other lion cub. And that's the most important thing, that even when things go bad, we can still learn things from that and help us with the animals that are still alive.
I think when you actually lose an animal, you feel a huge sense of loss. I think it's even worse when you lose a cub the size of the cub which we just lost. I mean, especially when it seemed to be starting to improve, and then it took a drastic turn downhill, really.
The cub's death is devastating, but it strengthened Alan's determination to keep the remaining cub alive. He's been transferred to a portable intensive care unit, which will be regulated with warm air at all times.
Because he's on his own now, it's quite important that he has something to cuddle up to. So we've got him something to go in with him, and he quite appreciates it. He plays with it quite a lot, even though he can't see, but he likes to feel something near him, and the toy seal's actually doing a good job, really.
Alan's bond with the surviving cub is growing, but to give him the best start, he must remain professional.
The thing is not to treat him as a pet. Obviously, we need to look after him really well, but he needs to know he's alive also. He recognises my scent now. The thing is, when he's asleep, it's not to scare him to wake up. I mean, you have to do it gradually. But the good thing is now he's getting used to the feed times, and he's actually waking up before he's due to be fed. So he's not so stressed out at all, really.
The other lion cub seems to be doing really well. It had a little bit of a better start. It looked like it had a small amount of its mother's milk, and that's very important for them to have in the first few hours of life. It's living on a knife edge, really. So if we get to sort of 10 days, 2 weeks, as the eyes start to open, then we start to feel a little bit more confident. So although at the moment it looks like it's doing pretty well, as we saw with the other lion cub, things can change really, really quickly.
The last couple of days have been like an emotional roller coaster, really. I'm feeling very frazzled. I'm relieved that the second cub is doing so well. He's extremely strong, so different from the other one. The other one was about half his size. We can only hope at the moment, and I'm going by what he looks like and how he's behaving, it's very, very sort of hopeful.
Alan will continue to do all he can for the surviving cub, but for now his future remains uncertain. Senior keeper Belinda Porter is playing matchmaker to a rare and unusual female pig.
Come on, girl, that's it. On here. Good girl. This is Majine. She's a female Barbarossa. It's a type of pig. And she comes from the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia. That's the only place you'll find them on this one particular island. So it's very important that we conserve the species and get her breeding.
A male Barbarossa is arriving at Chester later today, and Belinda wants Majine looking her best. So it's on to the weigh scales.
Good girl. So you weigh about 54k there, which is fine. Don't want you to lose any more weight than that. There we go. Good girl. That's it. So you ready?
Every girl needs pampering, especially before an all-important first date. And Majine is no exception.
All I'm doing here is putting on just a typical moisturiser that a person would use. Because you find that the skin tends to get a little bit dry and chapped and just breaks and flakes up a little bit. And it's probably just because that she's not mud wallowing as much as she would do in the wild. And that would sort of make her skin nice and supple and moist, protect her from any insects. And she loves it as well. She's quite a cheeky character, but they tend to find that the majority of Barbarossa are very friendly. So we tend to give her quite a little bit of attention and play with her.
So far, Majine has been unlucky in love. With fewer than 20 potential mates in the whole of Europe, it's not surprising.
The last 2 males we've had have been quite old and arthritic. They're just quite difficult to get a hold of young males. So we're hoping to be successful and breed from this female this time round because she's at a very good age. We don't want her to get any older.
Belinda finishes Majine's beauty treatment just in time. Her hot date has arrived. The male Barbarossa, called Sausage, has come all the way from the South Lakes Animal Park in Cumbria. He's been cooped up for nearly 3 hours, so the team want to get him out of his crate as soon as possible.
So we're going to take him over to his new house and unload him. We're really excited. We can't wait to see him. Okay. Are we all ready?
Yeah, ready to go.
At well over 50 kilos, he's a heavy boy. It takes 6 people to move him to his new pen.
Let's lower him down and have a look.
Yeah, it's facing that end.
Which end?
Yeah, we're right.
And tighten against the fence line.
The team have prepared a dark, quiet box to calm Sausage down after the stresses of his journey.
So what we're about to do is just lift this slide up and hopefully the Barbarossa is just going to walk straight out into the box without problem.
After a moment's hesitation, Sausage enters his new home. And senior keeper Phil Molyneux checks him over.
Looks fine. Obviously looks a bit shocked, a bit disorientated, but yeah, he's fine. He's quite calm. Majine will be very happy when she claps eyes on him.
That's a perfect unloading, no stress, hassle-free. And now we're just going to leave him overnight to get used to his enclosure, the smells. We've got a female next door, so I imagine he's going to hear her and smell her. And then we'll look to introduce them together tomorrow.
After a string of bad relationships, the meeting can't come soon enough for Majine. Headkeeper Alan has left the lion cub in the incubator and is on his way to check on the red panda cubs, Ming Ming and Doo Doo. When the cubs were born, it was a nervous time for everyone.
The first one she had before she died at 3 months with a heart defect, so that's why it's important to make sure the hearts are working properly.
After a thorough medical check, both cubs were given the all clear.
That's fine.
Okay, good.
But Alan was keen to return them to Mum and the safety of the den as quickly as possible.
The mother's fretting, and because you've known them so long, you start fretting a bit, so it's important that you get them back to the mother as soon as possible.
Le Shui is first out of the den, followed by Ming Ming. He's 3 months old and now almost as big as Mum. This is Alan's first look at the cubs for nearly 2 months, and he's delighted with their progress.
I was getting a bit worried that they were going to be a bit agoraphobic, but actually they've taken the first step and come out. I mean, sort of weeks are going by, and every week we thought, well, this will be the week they'll come out, and so be it. They're out today. Even though they're in the zoo, you don't want to interfere with the process of them coming out on their own because it could upset them quite a bit. And I mean, it was worth the wait, and it's great to see them outside now, really. I think it's quite normal for the mother to do a lot of the work. She's more watchful over them, they're far more protective now they're outside. While they're in the box, she used to go in the box, sort of feed them and come out. But now they're going all over the place. She has to watch everywhere, really, so it's quite a stressful time for her as well. So she's like worried about where they're going to. She's sort of watching where they are, and Dad's snoozing most of the day. At the age they are now, I mean, they're quite sure-footed. I mean, they have very sort of good nails to climb up the trees anyway. I mean, that's why they stay in the nest box for so long, because they're that much more advanced when they come out. And to look at them, I mean, they're about the size of their mother now. I mean, she still tries to drag them round a bit, but they're a bit more of a handful now than what they were before.
After the week's tragic events, the sight of the young cubs and their mother doing so well couldn't come at a better time.
It is a huge sense of achievement for all of us, really, and for the pandas as well, because now they've bred and hopefully they'll breed every year, and it's the start of an ongoing thing, which is good, isn't it? And very good for the zoo.
At Chester Zoo, it's time for one of head keeper Chas Mackenzie's favourite chores: cleaning out the banded mongoose enclosure. These gregarious creatures have a special bond with Chas.
Well, when the group arrived, they went in quarantine for 6 months, so I was the person who worked with them the most then. I was, like, for at least 5 days a week I was working with them. So you kind of get a nice rapport with them. So basically just kept it on, I do quite a bit of the work with it. Come back with that bag.
Mongooses live in social groups, and here at Chester there are 9. And that's plenty for Chas.
I would say I normally clean them out like this once a week, where they've kicked all the bark over. I'll tidy it all up, put it all back, and sort it all out, and then I'll leave it again for another week, because by that time they've wrecked it all again. So, as I say, it keeps you busy for a while, doesn't it? Hey guys, the only thing they interfere is they sometimes come up and the back of your legs and nip you. They run off with your back bags. They want to see and do everything that you want to do. Very nosy, very inquisitive, into everything. Ow! Don't bite. They can shift tons and tons of stuff around, so yes, they're always at it. It's probably an enjoyable game for them. I shift it, they shift it back.
In the wild, speed is the mongoose's best defence against predators. Here at Chester, their only threat is from a frustrated zookeeper.
Thanks. I'll go around chasing a bin bag round the paddock, won't I? And you didn't bring it back either, did you?
Chas will be back next week with a fresh supply of bin liners. Love is in the air at the Babarusa pig enclosure as head keeper Tim Rowlands checks on Majine's new boyfriend, Sausage.
He'd eaten everything last night. He's eaten everything this morning, so now it's time to let him out. Best case scenario, he walks out, I then let the girl out, and they start mating, we have piglets in the not too distant future. Come on, mate. Hopefully he'll come out, take a wander around, get used to his environment, and then after a few minutes, I'll let the female out.
When the door to his paddock is opened, it's a no-show. And it looks as though Majine might have a reluctant Romeo on her hands.
But I might just have to alter the plan and introduce her.
But Majine hasn't waited all this time just to be stood up. And after some gentle encouragement, she eventually persuades him to come outside.
She's fairly experienced. This is the third male she's been with, so that's why we're quite confident that she would settle him down a little bit, so she wanted to go in and see him.
Sausage should be the same colour as Majine, but he'll need a good clean-up if he's to revert to his natural shade.
He's pink because of the soil from where he came from. All the animals up there, if they dig wallows, they're pink, so hippos up there are pink. We'll get him back down to his natural battleship grey. That's him greeting her, yeah. And she's doing a a low murmur back to him, which is really good that they're starting to vocalise towards each other, especially in a friendly way.
The team are keen to give Sausage a name more befitting his exotic heritage.
We're going to try and find something that will match Margine's name, so possibly a Sulawesi name. So I'm going to leave it down to the girls to find a nice name for him. And one beginning with S.
Okay. Easy boy. Sabulu. Sabulu. I like that one. I like Sosu. Sosu. I think that's right. Sosu. 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 It's official name. Sosu.
Sosu it is.
Margine is a nice pig, so to have a young male a similar age to her, everything should be fine, and to have piglets would be fantastic.
At the end of a long day, the head keeper of carnivores, Alan Woodward, has one more job to do, and he's going to need the help of the whole team.
So I'm going to have somebody buy this box here to stop them running back in, because if it goes into the tunnel, we have trouble getting out of that tunnel, but the other boxes are OK.
Andy's, the bush dog, is about to be transferred to another zoo. But first, she needs to be caught.
Bush dog's very vulnerable in the wild, so this female is going to go to another collection at Port Lympne in Kent, and hopefully she'll start another breeding programme down there. That's why it's so important that we breed these animals in zoos, then go into other collections and start new breeding programmes off.
Chester Zoo is home to 4 bush dogs. Along with Andy's, there's Oyapoke, Rio and Salvador. They may be small, but they're speedy and efficient hunters with sharp teeth. Preparing for a tricky capture is vet James Chatterton.
Pretty powerful little things, I would imagine, though. So we shall see. This is why I like the job. You know, never, no 2 days the same.
Chris, are there any dogs in there? No. OK.
Bush dogs spend much of their time in burrows, so Alan will need to coax them out.
Laura, if you want to stand by just a bit away from the entrance in case they're in there, yeah. And if one of the youngsters come out, just net it straight away, and then we'll try that one. You ready? Yeah. OK. It's quite challenging. I mean, you have to run all over the enclosure trying to catch them. And the knack is to actually try and catch the right one. There's one more left coming out. Try and get that one as it comes out. Is that the old female?
I can see her face, but I'm not like it.
Right, we'll leave that one anyway. If you stand over there, Laura, and just catch them as I chase them back round.
With Rio left in the den, the team now have a 1 in 3 chance of catching the right one at the first go. But they need to be quick.
They're very quick, they're like lightning.
The team use special padded nets to ensure the bush dogs are not injured during the capture.
Right, there's one coming round towards you now. It's quite a gentle process, really. I mean, the animals do get slightly stressed, but it's over and done with very quickly. I've got one. Bush dogs from South America. Their main prey are agoutis, which are small rodents, and they can live in packs of up to about 25 animals.
The bush dog has a special microchip implanted under its skin. James uses a scanner to find out if they caught the right one.
No?
No.
OK. So what we'll do now, we'll put this bush dog over in the isolation area so we know which one we've caught. So it's a matter of elimination, really. There you go.
1 down, 2 to go.
Laura, try and get this one now.
Is this the right one?
No.
No?
That's the chip number on this one. That's the chip number we're looking for.
Right, OK. It's going to be the last one, I think. There you go. There's one coming over towards you.
After another chase, it's a relief to everyone when Andy's is finally captured.
Bingo. Yep.
Great.
So just got the word.
Chris, if you and Laura bring the box in now.
Yep.
Cheers. It's good exercise.
The bush dog will be transported to the zoo in Kent, where she'll be introduced to a mate to continue Chester Zoo's successful breeding programme.
Thanks, James. Usually they travel very well. She'll just settle down in the crate and probably just sleep most of the way.
Are we done?
We're done. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, James. Thanks. OK. Bye.